Well, as I mentioned yesterday, promises by our political leaders that Australians will be able to come home from abroad when we open our borders. Well, it may be off the mark, and today it's further off the mark. After we heard from Anastasia Palaszczuk, 44,000 Australians have registered with the Department of Foreign Affairs to return home. New South Wales has done the heavy lifting when it comes to bringing Aussies home, and Premier Gladys Berejiklian is confident she'll be able to welcome back more returning travellers once the state hits the 80% double dose mark next month.
We're keen to see international travel and our quarantine system adjust to that. We've already started the trial in our quarantine system, so we're confident that 80% double dose will be able to welcome home lots more Aussies than have been able to come home before, because ironically the risk of welcoming home Aussies will be far less than the risk of the virus in the community.
Now, that's hopeful. We've heard that before, though. Frustrated travel industry representatives have warned there are no seats on commercial flights before Christmas. Melinda Musto and her family have been trying to get home from Singapore for 10 months. Here's a little of what she told us yesterday.
Normally, a ticket from Singapore is about $1,200 a seat one-way economy. But economy is unavailable. Well, you can book it, but due to the caps being 12 people per flight, if you don't have a business class ticket or a first class ticket, you have no way, you just get bumped. So anybody that is trying to get home to Australia globally, and I believe there's 100,000 of us at the moment trying to get home, we have to pay approximately $5,000 per person per ticket. And one person from Abu Dhabi was actually has a quote, and I have a copy of the ticket saying $53,000 for one ticket to get home to Sydney. It's cruel for the Australian government to be doing nothing about this. Most of us that are trying to get home are doubly vaccinated. I don't know what more we can do, but some people have been cancelled up to 15 times. People are threatening terrible things because they're under so much emotional stress and pressure just to be able to get home.
I know we're juggling a lot of issues, especially within COVID, but we could make it clearer to people overseas what chances they have of coming back now instead of just having nothing for them to book until April next year. Tom Manwaring is the chairman of the Australian Federation of Travel Agents. He joins me right now. Tom, thanks for your time. Melinda Musto must be such a typical story around the world. They simply can't find a seat.
Yeah, Chris, no, thanks for give me a couple of minutes. Yeah, it's, I don't know what it is actually. It's a crisis. I mean, the travel agents in the industry here in Australia, and there's 25,000 people involved, are stressed to the max because of cases like this. The tight restriction on caps of seats into the country in the recent past for good reason, spread of the virus, etc., and the deaths we were having. But now it's rolling into a lot more actions required and the caps to be increased. And as we get into that 80% level, double vaxxed passengers on aeroplanes, whether they're Australian or incoming tourists, have to be treated the same. And there is a pretty good argument building, I think, by the end of the year where even the home quarantine, you would think would be unwarranted because everybody's double vaxxed, the risk rate is very low, and this queue of people overseas waiting to come home can be quickened. It's not just the availability of Qantas aircraft, of course, it's any of the 40 international airlines coming to Australia, and particularly from Europe with the Emirates and Qatar and Etihad and Singapore Airlines, etc., and Qantas. Collectively, they can move a lot of people, thousands of people a week. There are 150,000 people flying out of Australia in July this year. So the seat capacity is there, and the timing and confidence in the market, people will book through their agent, pricing will come down, and everybody can get home for Christmas.
See, I get the feeling if you're going to blame someone, you've got to look at state governments here, because the federal government is pushing the states to do home quarantine trials, which means we won't have to use hotels. We've got a list of 44,000 people who want to get on, so the airlines know that there's demand there. They could schedule the planes tomorrow. But the states need to say, OK, in 4 weeks' time, we're going to have a system where You come over as a double vaccinated return traveller. You make sure you've got a negative test from your point of departure, and we give you a quick antigen rapid test when you arrive in the country. Stay home for 4 days. Done, dusted, jump on a plane.
I think that's right. That's the common sense approach. And I think we all get the medical advice. We're hearing it every day. But when we get, and where we sit here today, if you look back 2 months, you know, it's a massive change in what's been happening with vaccinations, with 2 million more Moderna coming in the next 2 weeks. So, you know, that on-rolling vaccination program, 2 million people done in the last 7 days. So by Christmas, which is 2 months away, you know, 3 months away, you know, the numbers will look significantly stronger. And that's the key. If the numbers are projected to look that strong, then we can get, and I'm sure it is probably happening behind the scenes, I hope it is for the airlines, but you know, that surety and confidence in scheduling can be mounted now. I mean, the airline industry and the travel industry, it's not like flicking a light switch and saying, okay, away we go now. All of the planning and processes that have to take place to achieve this extra scheduling or even the freeing up of seats really requires timing. Yep. So between now and Christmas, there is time to do that. And if they can't all get back by Christmas, they can certainly get back by the new year. The seat availability is there. The caps have to be lightened, and then we can get onto some normality with a very high, you know, percentage of vaccinated. And overall, the travel agents are as frustrated as the public and are as stressed, I might add. Travel agents have been in lockdown for 600 days now. Yeah.
It's just outrageous. Look, everyone's stressed out about it because no one wants to take the bull by the horns and make the decision. Tom Manwaring, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Chris.
We know exactly through the modelling what will happen in the next 3 months in every state in terms of vaccinations. You could set a plan on returning travellers right now. It's just appalling.